What are some real but crazy facts that could save your life? If you ever have to rescue a drowning person, throw them something to grab onto beside yourself. As a child, maybe 7 years old, I encountered my 4-year-old brother drowning in our pool after the maintenance guys left the fence open. I jumped in and grabbed my brother, who proceeded to try and drown me to get above water. I walked along the bottom holding my breath with him on my shoulders until the edge. I didn't think about it too much until I had kids of my own. I relive it in nightmares. I have pretty severe anxiety about my kids around water. I die in those dreams rescuing them a lot. I feel like I learned some of those dangers the hard way, but not the hardest way. Someone else mentioned therapy, and as a vet who never talked to anyone for 7 years after getting out, it actually helps having a professional to talk to. I never wanted to put my mental burdens on friends or family, but there are PPL that are able to help with such things. And while it's hard to open up to a complete stranger, try not to be worried about what they will think about you. They will take you serious and treat you like a long-time friend. Best of luck to you, friend. Edit. Thank you for all the kind words and questions. I went to sleep shortly after writing this, not expecting all the replies. But to those actually looking to speak with someone, I had the benefit of reaching out to the VA and getting the long-needed help I needed. I honestly don't know how someone would go about find such resources, but I'm sure someone here is more knowledgeable. Regular appointments and medication are helping me control my PTSD and depression and anxiety. As for the nightmares our friend is suffering from, I was having reoccurring nightmares keeping me up at night and was prescribed Prozocin. It's helped keep them under control, and I have felt the difference in the amount of rest I'm getting. But everyone is different. Never feel alone in your struggles. Seeing the kind PPL and hearing the kind words makes even the most difficult days a bit easier to approach. If your house smells like fish for absolutely no reason, 9 times out of 10 it means that there is an electrical fire. The other time it means you need to take a shower. Had this happen whenever the heater was used. Landlord said it wasn't a big deal. About a month later, called an electrician ourselves and the fuse box was ducked. Melted wires, char. Dodged a bullet. Our old landlord was arguing the electrics were fine as we stood under a flickering light with a mystery fish smell. Got an electrician in who told us our electrics made him nostalgic because they reminded him of living in a poor area of India when he was a kid. Lots of burned wires and a distinct lack of proper earthing. My boyfriend's parents almost had their house burned down last week. They smelled a burning last Sunday night after a small power outage and so turned off the breakers and went to bed. Next morning, turned breakers back on, smelled it again, called an electrician and the power company that I work for, lol. Electrician and power company guy showed up the same time. Turns out that a shit ton of ants ate the neutral line into their UGG power box. They're the first house in the neighborhood off that transformer. Electrician and power company dude told them if they hadn't been home, their house would have burned down. And then the neighbors. And then the neighbors after that. And so on. They're literally called crazy ants. Apparently they're a huge problem here in Ensiga, but we'd never heard of them before. So, life pro tip, if you by chance happen to see a shit ton of ants around your transformer UGG box, call the power company. They didn't see them, but luckily they thought quickly. If you get stabbed or impaled, leave the foreign object alone. Do not attempt to remove it. Yeah, it's horrible and it's freaking you out, but your odds of survival are much higher if you just leave it be. Medical professionals will remove it in an environment equipped to deal with it. Also worth noting, if you react in panic and remove the object, but then remember this fact, do not try to put the object back in. But if you do, don't pull it out again. Lamau, the thought of someone continuously stabbing themselves because they keep vacillating between having to keep the object in and out of them is killing me. It is killing them as well. If someone is trying to suffocate you with a pillow by pressing it down on your face, just rotate your head to the side and there will be a small air pocket for you to breathe. They'll probably still try to kill you afterwards, but at least you can survive for longer. I got into a heated debate with my dad at a family dinner once. He was saying how he could suffocate me by putting a plastic bag over my head, and I said no, I could easily get out of that. The man went and got a trash bag and put in around my head. My survival method was to suck the bag into my mouth and chew up the bag the best I could. Totally worked. I never want to see you two argue about if you could dodge a bullet. My survival method was to suck the bullet into my mouth and chew up the bullet the best I could. If you're choking, don't get embarrassed, don't go to the bathroom, don't walk away from people. I've seen a couple people nearly die because they were panicking and walked away from the dinner tables and such while choking. Do the universal sign for choking with both your hands on your neck, and most people will get the message. You can hold a plastic bag around a willow tree branch with leaves and it will start condensating drinkable water in the bag. Any plant will do this. Does willow respire more than others? Any plant will work, but some plants will contaminate the water with other secretions as well, oils from the leaves and such, so it's a good idea to be careful about what plants you use this technique on. Willows would probably be a good choice in part because they tend to grow in wet areas. Said wet area may be underground, or seasonal, so they likely have access to more water for respiration. If it's cloudy outside and you suddenly feel static run down your body and your hairs raise, better pucker them cheeks and drop to the ground. Lightning is about to hit dangerously close to you. I felt this on the top of Mount Lawson in California once when I was with a hiking group in college. Clouds rolled in sooner and thicker than expected that day, and shortly after summiting the mountain, I noticed the air was weird. I felt a lot of static electricity, and everyone's hair was up. We'd been hanging out eating lunch and our hiking guide told us we had to move now. Which in retrospect, I'd give maybe we should have sheltered and assumed the position and waited for a minute until the air cleared, but our priority was getting us off of the highest point as quick as possible. We had taken hours to hike up the mountain and we ran down that thing in half an hour. Lightning was striking everywhere and we were being pelted with hail. We made it out just fine, but the lightning started a lot of fires in the area. Summer of 2008. I'll never forget the uneasy feeling before lightning struck. My body knew what was happening before I did. Put a lid on a flaming pan to smother it and remove from heat carefully. Never throw any liquid on it. Don't remove the lid for at least 5 minutes. Not throwing water on an oil fire should be common knowledge, but it isn't. There's also probably people that know this, but in the panic of the situation, the water kills fire, monkey brain takes over. Same thing with a falling knife has no handle, human brain in controlled situation. Yes, very wise human brain in uncontrolled situation. Thing fall, thing should not fall, stop thing from fall. If you crash into an electrical pole, immediately call 911, or your country's equivalent, and stay in the car. You could have downed an electrical wire, and the wire will still be live. Assume the entire area around your car is electrified. Only get out of the car if there's an immediate danger, such as a fire. When you exit the car, make sure both feet touch the ground at the same time, and only take small, shuffling steps, and make sure both feet are touching the ground at all times. There were 2 teenagers from my hometown that were electrocuted after an accident like this. Can you please explain why we need to put both feet on the ground at the same time? Edit, thanks for all the explanations, guys. Firefighter here. If you must leave the vehicle, immediate lift threat exists, jump and land evenly, then shuffle. The vehicle may be charged by a live wire down, and if you were to still be touching the vehicle when you place your feet on the ground, you are completing the circuit and it will travel to you then to the ground. Shuffling keeps you grounded and electricity can cast a current a few feet from its source, hence why you may feel a buzzing when close to a source emitting significant electricity. Edit, thanks for the love. I'm relatively new to the service but we're trained on a wide variety of subjects. I distinctly remember this from academy training. Stay safe. The shuffling of the feet is because around high voltage the ground itself could have electric current in it. If you were to raise a foot to step, there is the chance that the electrical potential between your 2 steps are different, causing electricity to flow through one foot to the other through you. By taking short shuffled steps it discharges built-up potential in shorter amounts, preventing dangerous electrocution. Just thought I'd elaborate on the shuffle. If you get bit by a wild animal, you must get the rabies vaccine. Rabies is not like a flu or mild inconvenience. It's one of the most lethal diseases on the planet. It has a near 100% fatality once the disease takes hold, and it's a horrible way to go. If the ocean water suddenly recedes at the beach you're at, a tsunami is probably coming. Run, don't look at the fish. Oh, a tsunami is coming, looks at the fish. Edit, damn 8K upvotes, was not expecting that shit, Thai guys. That's pretty much what happened at that tsunami in 2005, I think. The water receded and lots of tourists went out into the former surf picking shells and stuff. When Tay wave came they were in a terrible position. Sri 2004, not 2K5. There was a British girl who just learned about tsunamis at school, so she was able to warn everyone around her and they escaped in time. Yes, she saw the water recede and the wildlife take off, and she was hysterically screaming at everyone to get off the beach. Legend.